I mean, I suppose every journey is exciting. It's a real treat to be driving a car like this. You know, when you're driving, you've always got half an eye on the water temperature. I suppose you're taken back in time as well. You know, the wooden floor has got the original racing handbrake, which you pull back and then just give it a knock and it takes it off, and then you can drive off quickly if you're starting a race. But it's all part of the experience. I mean, driving position is designed for sort of someone medium height, and the pedals are, they're well situated, so they're easy for heeling and towing. You can, because it's the Moss box, it's the crash box, so you've got a double D clutch all the time, which is, once you get used to it, it's fine. And it has an intensity as well. When you're on the power, the whole thing vibrates, and it's got an energy. It's alive, and as my father has said, that's when these machines, how they should be used and enjoyed and driven. My name is William Foster, and I drive a Jaguar XK120. This car is so important because it was one of the 6 works cars which the factory made for competition, had specialist parts put in the engine, and it was one of the 3 Jaguars that raced at Le Mans in 1950. Jaguar, they wanted to try out Le Mans, but they didn't want to draw too much attention to themselves being involved, so all the cars were entered privately. It did. Chesley Walsh Hill Climb came first, the TT at Dundrod came second there. Following Peter Walker, he was the first owner. The second owner, Hugh Howarth, he raced it very successfully, but there's an interesting story about this car and its period modifications, in that Hugh Howarth, he wanted to upgrade to a C-Type after this car. When the C-Type was finally ready, his financial situation had changed somewhat. Lofty England said to him, well, okay, we can sort you out some C-Type parts for your XK, and so through Peter Walker, you received, it was a C-Type rear suspension, rear axle, carbs, cylinder head, and which did improve the car. He won the William Lyons Trophy in 1952 and 1954 in this car. Following him, there were a number of other owners, and then my father acquired the car in 1980. So the car was built, I mean, it's aluminium bodied over an ash frame. The design that Jaguar used for its first batch of XKs in the aluminium bodies, then they reverted to steel because it was so cheaper and easier to use, albeit still exactly the same lovely car. And the engine, again, with the 3.4 straight 6, I suppose it's one of the sort of most famous engine configurations in British racing and driving history. I mean, it started in the XK, was used in the XK140, the 150, the C, D and E-Type. The design, it was very avant-garde when the car was released in 1948, and certainly it proved itself in the motor racing sphere as well. I was lucky to race with my father, and we did 6 races together at Spa, Donington, Brands Hatch, Le Mans and Dijon as well. He's raced for a lot of years. I learned a lot from him. Maybe he was as excited as I was that we were racing together, because it was great to swap information when you come off a track, and you talk to each other in the pit lane, full of adrenaline. Everyone's talking 90 to the dozen. Yeah, that was really special. I'm really glad that I had the privilege to race this car and with my father. I suppose it's a pared back ethos with this car. There's nothing here to add weight. It's all about pared back, and that gives a sensational rawness to the driving experience. The car sits well on the road. When you set it up on a corner, takes you around nicely. Quite a lot of buffeting in the cockpit, with the air twirling around. The fly screen keeps a little bit of air off, but not so much. When I'm driving the car, I prefer to wear a helmet because it keeps it. It's a bit quieter. Your head's not being buffeted around so much. You could go for the sort of leather cap and goggles, but I don't know. It'd be a longer day. It's kind of, I suppose, when you're driving it, you just get into a flow. Maybe a bit like a motorcycle. You work. You're sort of part of the car, and you've got the straight six purring away in front of you. It's a very pure driving experience. My father liked Jaguars because they were British. They had an exceptional sporting history, but he grew up seeing them as a poster car, and then subsequently, for me, I sat next to him in this car and then in his E-types, and the view down the bonnet, the straight six engine, it's a fantastic feeling when you're on the power and driving down the road. The thing I love about the car is, I suppose, the shape, the sort of view down the bonnet you see when you're driving along, the side lights, they're almost like the leaping cat. The way they're designed, and I suppose the simplicity is the purity of purpose, which, cars nowadays, it's hard to find that. And also the connection with my father and motor racing. It's part of the family. There's a huge sentimental bond with the car because of that.